Welcome to episode 14 of the Leading Complexity podcast. This is where we explore the art of leading organizations in today's complex, hyper-competitive landscape. In each episode, we will explore cutting-edge strategies with some of the foremost thinkers in leadership. Join us and discover how to make your organization thrive and lead in a constantly evolving world. My name is Thomas Björkholm, and with me I have Mikael Göte.
In this episode, we will listen to an exciting interview we've made with Joe Justice. Joe is well known to CRISP. He has been frequently visiting us for courses in agile hardware and software. He has led many agile initiatives and practices at companies such as Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Boeing, Tesla, Toyota, NEC, etc.
You also founded Wikispeed, a car manufacturing company in the US. And Wikispeed was in this competition where they tried to create a car that could go 100 miles on a gallon. And he has lately joined Tesla and SpaceX to study them more deeply.
Let's look at the interview.
Mikael, it is my honor and privilege to be collaborating with you and the partners at CRISP in Sweden. Thank you so much.
Hi, yes, it's great to have you here, and we're so happy to have you on our program this fall. So, you tell me, why should leaders care about complexity?
SpaceX has one rocket system, Starship. They're retiring Falcon now, so they can focus all engineering, all procurement, all manufacturing, all testing on one system, Starship, the largest rocket humans have ever made. Tesla has 4 cars on sale right now, and it's really 2 platforms. The Model 3 and Model Y share an enormous number of components. The Model S and Model X share a platform as well. And even more than that, maybe a lot of people didn't know, every Tesla uses the same seats. The seats are the same in a Model 3, a Model Y, a Model S, a Model X. Reducing complexity is absolutely the method for speed of innovation. And according to Elon Musk, pace of innovation is the only thing that matters in the long run.
Yes, so to meet the competition, the changing environment, you need to simplify or be able to handle complexity with less, so to say.
Complexity reduces speed. And if pace of innovation is the only thing that matters in the long run, you've eliminated half of your competitive advantage.
Yeah. So what are the biggest challenges for leaders in this environment?
Actually doing the engineering. Leaders can have a part reduction initiative. They can create an incentive plan to reduce part count. They can create an incentive plan to refactor code bases. Totally different than joining the engineering and being part of, if 60 new parts are introduced in a day, like they are at Tesla, how did we also eliminate 61 or more parts every day? So complexity doesn't grow. That means you're doing the engineering with the teams. Leadership mandates don't translate the same way as actually sweat in the trenches.
Okay, so it's actually really understanding how you can make things, how to build things, handle the complexity with kind of really reducing the complexity in the process. So what
exactly,
is your key...
Mikael, you and I are speaking the same language.
So what is your key message to leaders today?
For every part that's introduced, for every line of code that's introduced, more than that needs to be taken away every day. And the speed at which a part is certified, saleable, homologated, and on sale reaching the customer, and the speed at which electronics and lines of code are certified, on sale, and reach the customer is your pace of innovation. And that is the only thing that matters in the long run.
Yes. And if people want to join your talk at the Leading Complexity program, what would be the kind of key takeaways you hope for?
I'm very lucky. I've worked directly with Bill Gates. I've then consulted to the leadership team at Amazon when Jeff Bezos was CEO. And then I operated the Agile program at Tesla for Elon Musk. people who take this session will see a comparison of the leadership styles of those 3 phenomenally successful people and the leadership teams they helped create and they were a part of and they led. They will also get to experience what I think is the most innovative and fastest of all of that mix. And they will have a to-do list that they can take back to their work, their passion projects, and their companies to implement tactics like those leaders, if that's what they choose to do.
That sounds really intriguing. I cannot wait myself to to participate. Yeah, looking forward to the autumn already now.
CRISP is world-class, world-famous, and a legend. It is my honor and privilege to be coming back to CRISP, to be doing these leadership sessions. Thank you so much for having me. I'm Joe Justice. You can follow me on Twitter @JoeJustice. See you soon.
Thanks so much, Joe. See you.
What an interesting interview. But I think there are a couple of things that we need to explain. For instance, Joe is saying reducing complexity is absolutely key to speed of innovation. Can you explain?
Yeah, so if things are taking long time to get decisions, to come up with innovations, come up with new ideas, if you have to go through committees, escalations, etc., then that's really slowing things down. So getting rid of this unnecessary complexity is key for innovation and speed.
Okay, so I guess this is what Bonita Roy, that we interviewed a couple of episodes ago, she was talking about releasing complexity. And in her vocabulary, the reducing complexity means that we are limiting our understanding of the world, like we are simplifying the world around us, missing all the quick changes and all the dependencies that we have. Next thing I'm thinking of lifting up here in question is the pace of innovation is the only thing that matters in the long run. What do you think he means with that?
Yeah, I think unless the kind of business domain is very mature, if it's like a technology is changing so fast that if you're not on kind of the innovation curve on top of that, you will be disrupted basically by someone. So you need to have a really fast innovation.
Yeah. So like having a fantastic product strategy that gives you short-term winnings and success. But if you want to be successful in the long run, you need to be working on your company's ability to also innovate. And that is a completely different thing.
Yeah, so all products, they mature. There you have this normal curve of the product life cycle. Then, unless you innovate on top of that and build something new, someone else will do it. So you basically have to disrupt yourself all the time before someone else does it. That's the really tricky thing.
Yeah, and Annika Staber, that we also have interviewed before, she has this, she's talking about the ambidextrous organization. That means you as organization are both good at delivering and having a good product strategy as is, but you're also building the capability of innovation so you can have a future also.
Yeah, and I think this is core in the presentation with you, and it talks about the experience from Tesla and SpaceX, that every day everyone is encouraged to come up with new ideas, do things better, challenge everything basically.
Yeah, exactly. So going on to the next part here. So he also says that every part or line of code introduced, more than that needs to be removed. It seems like working backwards, but I guess you have another meaning of that.
Yeah, so if you can reduce something or simplify something, that's the kind of potential for increasing the efficiency. So rather than improving a process, can we get rid of it? Improving a part, can we get rid of it? So that's kind of core theme. So making things more slim and simple.
So it's kind of a continuous work to always identify process steps that you can remove.
Yeah, yes. I think Elon is known for saying multiple times that the best process is new process. The best part is new part. So, and also he said that if you don't end up putting 10% back, you have not deleted enough. So things are always kind of adding things. It's the nature of kind of work that we want to make things more less risky. We want to kind of get rid of our uncertainty. We add stuff and things, and that makes things more complex. So we kind of constantly have to challenge to see what we can remove or go to more basic kind of principles.
Very interesting. Let's see if we have any highlights. Would you like to start? What's your first highlight?
Yeah, so you talked about that Tesla has kind of 4 cars and 2 platforms, and I think okay, now they also released the Cyber Truck and Cyber Cab actually, but still very few platforms, very few models, very few configurations. So that's make it very few combinations basically. And I've heard critics saying that Tesla have to have more models to be able to sell more cars, but the proof is that the Tesla Model Y is the most sold car, and not the most sold electric car, but the most sold car in the world last year.
That's very interesting. Reducing the number of platforms reminds me of the time when I was a CEO of an internet-based travel agency, and we were part of a bigger family or a bigger group, and in our group we also had other companies. I know we had a UK-based company, and we were doing about the same thing, but I had like 12 developers while they had 300. And the reason for that was because we both acquired other companies as we grow, but I never saw a real value in those platforms from the other companies that we acquired. So I just said, don't look for value there, because that will just make things more complicated. But our sister company from UK, they were always bringing in, integrating the other platforms, and they ended up with a mess. And they needed 300 people to be able to maintain that platform. We needed 12. That's a big difference.
Yeah, so kind of keeping the platforms to the low number, but also as SpaceX and Tesla, they use a very modular design. So having modules that are have standard interfaces, and you can kind of change each module quite independently of the rest, and also try having them kind of backward compatible. So few modules that are easily kind of replaced and improved upon.
Yeah, reminds me of how we built our platform.
Yeah.
Okay, so my highlight, it will be that in the same theme, I will say, he says that at Tesla, when 60 new parts are introduced in a day, how do we ensure that 61 or more parts are eliminated? And I think this again shows this eager for simplicity. So really simplicity, and simplicity, I would say.
Yes, actually, Elon is known for saying delete, delete, delete. I read the biography by Walter Isaacson, a really good book about Elon, and then I searched for the word delete because it's just kind of that frequently appearing, and it's 53 times in the book. It kind of brings up the idea of delete. So always kind of simplifying things, going back to kind of first principles, thinking of what's the kind of basic foundation for anything. And also there, he has a kind of a process that he applies on all his companies. He calls it the algorithm. So step 1 is question every requirement. So he says that all requirements are kind of dumb, and you should make them less dumb. And to do that also, any requirement have to kind of be assigned to a person, or there has to be some source you can go and ask for kind of why did we introduce this thing here, and what is it kind of really necessary. So the question first, the requirement. Secondly, delete any part or process that you can. So make it, again, as simple as possible. And then when you've done that, you kind of simplify and optimize, try to improve that in every way you can. And when things are getting more stable, then you can accelerate the cycle time, so you iterate faster on it. And the last step is automation. So you kind of when it's kind of iterated a lot of times, you automate it as well. And Elon talks about that he made the big mistakes. Actually, he kind of went the other way, tried to over automate things when they started the Model 3 in the beginning, automate things, then try to speed up. And then afterwards, they realized that there were a lot of things that it could simplify or even remove or delete or kind of question why they had it in the first place. So he learned the lesson of I have to do this in the right order.
So, what is your next highlight?
Well, he talked about that leaders mandate doesn't translate the same way as actually sweating in the trenches. So he talks about that as a leader, you can kind of mandate or give policies or direction, but it's not the same thing as actually the value of participating and working together with the people. And I think it can ties back to that. You can mandate things, but it's very easy that's kind of become some coercion, right? But if you're actually participating hands-on, close to the work, you get them really understanding, collaborating, and effectiveness through that. Yeah, so this is opposed to kind of in traditional organizations when information is kind of aggregated up in the hierarchy, and as it's aggregated up, it becomes on a more higher abstraction level, and you start losing details and you start being disconnected from the real work. And also, by the time it has been aggregated to the top, it's kind of too late. So that's, I think, is what you refers to, the value of kind of participative leadership working more close to the operations.
Interesting. And I guess that when you are maneuvering in complexity, the distance to where the action is needs to be minimized, and that is very crucial. And we recognize this also from Lean, where they talk about the Gemba walk, the importance of being close and understanding what is actually happening, not sitting in a room far away.
Yeah, and I think at Tesla, the emphasis, the kind of the closeness to for anyone to talk with executives, and I think in their handbook, which is actually called the new handbook, they say that if anyone is hindering you from talking to a manager, executive, or even Elon Musk, that's a ground for firing. There should be no kind of policy or power over. You should be able to talk to anyone at any time.
Yeah, interesting. Moving on to my last highlight, and it is Joe is saying the speed of which electronics and line of codes are reaching the customer is your pace of innovation. And I think this is so interesting because we both meet a lot of hardware people, and they are always saying that agility is not about, it's not for hardware because they have so long cycle times, mostly because of others delivering very slowly to them. And I think this is kind of, it's only truth if you are not considering time to market or cycle time when purchasing your items. And if you only focus on the cost, yes, of course, it will take a long time. But I think for a quite small extra amount, you can get much, much quicker delivery. And I think that is the difference from companies that are understanding the importance of innovation and fast feedback and quick cycle times. And the ones that don't understand this is that the ones understanding this, they are adding this little extra, and they will probably have much higher revenue at the end anyway. And this is kind of what Toyota understood when they created the Toyota Way, where they were focusing on flow instead of just optimizing cost for every part.
Yeah, so Joe has talked about this in his courses that he has, that also when Tesla contract with subcontractors, they have a requirement on speed, so they should be able to get improvement back in 24 hours. But the normal traditional kind of supplier agreement is that the supplier demands a change in the specification 9 months before it is supposed to go into production. So that is way too slow for Tesla. So Joe shares an example when they were working with Bosch, who makes the steering racket, that Tesla provide Bosch with data from the cars, and they ask Bosch to continuously improve on that data. They don't change the specs from Tesla. They ask Bosch to just continuously improve on it. And they should be able to do that super fast. And Bosch was delighted because they said that, oh, that's how we already work with Formula One, and everyone wants to be on that project.
Yeah, and I think we find the same thing in Toyota, where they are talking about they need to work with the whole ecosystem to make sure that everyone are just as fast as they want to be.
Toyota is known for having much fewer suppliers than all the other traditional companies. Okay, so let's wrap up for today. We're curious about your reflections, so please share your comments. And if you want to learn more about Joe Justice's work and how to work with Agile in software and hardware based on Tesla and SpaceX, you can check out the video we had with him in our Leading Complexity program. It's a good example of a masterclass. And this video is actually open on our YouTube channel, so we will put the link in the description section to this podcast. So, and of course, if you want to join this year's program, you can still do it and go to leadingcomplexity.com to sign up. So thanks for today and see you next week.
Thank you.